Hello friends, welcome to the Alankar Pharmacy classes again, and the today's topic is Bernoulli's theorem and application. This is one of the very important topic in the fluid flow of unit operation topic. So without wasting our time, let's start. First of all, the Bernoulli's theorem states that in a steady state ideal flow of an incompressible fluid, the total energy per unit mass, which consists of a pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy at any point of the fluid, is constant. So this is the Bernoulli's theorem statement. In this statement, now you can see that two particular things are mentioned. The first thing, there is an ideal flow. The first assumption of the Bernoulli's theorem is this: there is an ideal flow, that means there is a non-viscous flow of the liquid, and another thing, that it is an incompressible fluid. The total energy per unit mass, which consists of a pressure energy, kinetic energy and potential energy at any point of the fluid, is constant. So this is actually the statement of the Bernoulli's theorem. And now you can see in this pictorial diagram that there is a movement of a liquid from point A to point B through a pipe. This is a pipe, and through which any liquid is flowing through it. And now you can understand by all the points that are mentioned here, this V1 is the velocity of the liquid flowing into tube, and this P1 is the pressure of liquid entering into the pipe. The liquid is flowing from point A to point B, and now you can see the cross-sectional area of the pipe at point A and at point B are different. So V1 is the velocity of the liquid flowing into the tube, whereas P1 is the pressure of the liquid entering the pipe, and H1 is the height of the column at point A. So this is the H1, and likewise H2 is the height of the column at point B. Similarly, V2 is the velocity of the liquid exiting outside from the point B, and P2 is the pressure that is exerted by the liquid at point B. There is a tube, the liquid is entering from point A and exiting from point B. Both the points are at the different height and cross-sectional area that we have already discussed. The point A and point B both are having different cross-sectional area. Now the mass of the liquid that is entering from point A is equals to the mass of the liquid exiting from the point B at a given time. As you have already seen while discussing the Bernoulli's theorem, that there is a ideal flow. Other than this, there is an incompressible liquid. These two assumptions are there. Then in that case, this is obvious that the amount of liquid that is entering from point A always equals to the amount of the liquid that is exiting from point B. Now the liquid enters through point A will experience the sum of three different types of energies. The first type of energy is the work input, that is represented here by WA. Now there is a potential energy, it is represented here by PEA, and the third type of energy is kinetic energy, that is KEA. And similarly, the liquid exiting from point B will also experience these similar types of energies. In this case also there is an work output, that is WB. Now the potential energy, that is PEB, kinetic energy, that is KEB. So these all are the energies that are involved in this experiment. Now according to the Bernoulli's theorem, sum of the energies is equals to the sum of the work input and potential energy and kinetic energy. It can be represented as WA, that is work input, similarly potential energy at point A and kinetic energy at point A, and that is equals to the constant according to the Bernoulli's equation. And let us assume that this is an equation 1. Work input is equals to the pressure at point A multiplied by the V1. Now what is this V1? Now you can understand by this figure, this is the point A. The molecules that are present just at the entrance of the point A will push the molecule that are present inside the column, and in this way the molecules of water travels from point A to point B. Because of this PA, that is the pressure of these molecules which are initially present, will at a particular time, and let's suppose that is the del T, will shift the V1 volume of the water inside this tube. V1 is the volume of the liquid entering from point A at the given time. PA is the pressure of the liquid entering from point A, and what is this V1? V1 is the volume of the liquid entering from point A. Sometimes this calculation is also represented or also known as the pressure energy of the water. But this volume, that is V1, is equals to the mass divided by that is this rho, that is the density. Liquid is an incompressible liquid. That means the mass of the liquid, which is represented here by m, is constant throughout the tube, will always be a constant, and rho is the density of the liquid, and similarly the density of the liquid will also be a constant throughout the experiment or throughout the tube. And why so? Because this is an incompressible type of liquid. V1 can also be written as mass divided by the density, and therefore the work input can be written as PA. We are actually just putting the value of V1 in this equation. That's why this WA equals to the PA multiplied by M divided by this rho. And let us assume that this is an equation 2. Potential energy, as we know, that is the energy possessed by the body by virtue of its position or configuration. So potential energy in this case at point A will be equals to the mass multiplied by the acceleration due to gravity multiplied by the h1, which is the height of the column at point A. Now let us assume that this is an equation 3. Similarly, as we know that the kinetic energy is the energy possessed by the body by virtue of its motion. And likewise, kinetic energy at point A similarly can be written as half mass multiplied by the V1 square. Now this is V1 square, that is the velocity of the liquid at point A. So mv square divided by 2, this is the value of the kinetic energy at point A. So if we put all the values together, work input plus potential energy plus kinetic energy, that will be equals to the constant value according to the Bernoulli's theorem. So the total energy at point A can be written as, that is the work input or the pressure energy plus this is the value which is the potential energy and kinetic energy, which is equals to the constant according to the Bernoulli's theorem. And let us assume that this equation is equation 5. And similarly, the total energy at point B can also be represented as PB, that is the pressure of pressure of fluid at point B multiplied by m by rho, and mass and density, these are the values that are constant throughout the tube. That's why this remains unchanged, plus mass multiplied by acceleration due to gravity multiplied by h2. h2 is the height of the column at point B plus mv2 square divided by 2. What is this v2? This is the velocity of the liquid at point B. This is an equation 6. Now according to the law of conservation, the amount of energy input by a closed system is equals to the amount of the energy released by the system. This case is also a closed system, and that's why the law of conservation will be applicable here also. And in that case, the value, that is the total energy at point A and total energy at point B will be same. This can be written as the energy input, that is at point A, will always be the equals to the energy output, that is at point B. Thus we can write this equation as WA, that is the work input at point A, potential energy at point A, kinetic energy at point A equals to the work output at point B, potential energy at point B and kinetic energy at point B. Thus, we can also write this equation as this, that is the pressure energy at point A plus potential energy at point A, similarly kinetic energy at point A is equals to the pressure energy at point B, potential energy at point B and kinetic energy at point B. And if we remove the m in both the sides, we will get this equation, that is PA divided by rho plus G multiplied by H1 plus V1 square divided by 2 is equals to PV divided by rho G multiplied by H2 plus V2 square divided by 2. Now if we multiply the rho from both the sides, we will get the equation 7, which is this, that is PA multiplied by this much multiplied by rho multiplied by V1 square divided by 2 is equals to the PB, that is the pressure at point A. This PA is the pressure at point A and similarly PB is the pressure at point B, plus rho multiplied by G multiplied by H2 plus rho multiplied by V2 square divided by 2, which is the equation 7. Now the change in values of any side will be compensated by the change in other factors. Velocity of the liquid increases, other factor compensate the increase of any other factor. And in this way, both the equations will be always be equals to each other. That is, LHS will always be equals to RHS. And there is a difference in height as well as the area of cross section at point A and B, and we have to use a pump to move liquid vertically, and some amount of energy that will be added in the system. Since there is no such ideal fluid in the whole universe, we have not found any ideal fluid, therefore there may be some loss of energy too because of the friction. The loss of energy because of the friction actually converted into heat, and that is liberated into the surrounding environment. That means some part of the energy is added into the system, that is because of the pump, and some part of the energy system loses, that is because of the friction of the fluids molecules on the walls of the tube. Thus we can say that the energy added by the pump, let us assume that is plus W, and the energy lost due to friction, let us assume that is minus F. Since here in this case energy is lost, that's why we have to put here minus sign. And putting these values in the equation 7, this equation will now equals to PA plus rho into acceleration due to gravity multiplied by H1, that is the height of the column, plus rho multiplied by V1 square, that is the velocity of liquid at point A, minus F, that is the energy lost due to friction, then W is equals to PB, that is the pressure at point B, plus rho multiplied by acceleration due to gravity into H2, that is the height of the column at point B, plus rho multiplied by this V2, that is the velocity of the liquid at point B. This equation 8 is actually the Bernoulli's equation. Now the last thing, that is the application part. Bernoulli's theorem is basically applied in the measurement of the rate of fluid flow using orifice meter, Venturi meter, etc. The principles of Bernoulli's equation is also used in the echocardiography findings. Echocardiography is basically a test that uses the sound waves to produce the live images of the heart. This technique is also based on the principles of Bernoulli's theorem. So this is all with the today's topic. Hope you all have liked this video. So please do share with your colleagues who are in the search of this topic. Thank you friends.